My brother told his kids I was the family mistake that never should have happened. So I disappeared and now I'm the anonymous donor who rejected his scholarship application. Your encouragement keeps us telling stories. Show support by subscribing, and while you're here, let us know where in the world you're watching from. I wasn't supposed to hear it. Standing outside Ezra's pristine suburban home in Oakland, gift bag in hand, I froze when my nephew Jamal's voice carried through the cracked window. Why doesn't Aunt Lucille come around more? My heart warmed until Ezra responded. Listen, son. Your aunt. She was the family mistake that never should have happened. Mama had her late after the good kids were already raised. She's always been a burden we had to carry. The December cold bit deeper than it had seconds ago. I was 32, Ezra was 47. 15 years separated us, but I'd spent my whole life worshipping him. My successful big brother, the dentist with the perfect family. I'd helped him through dental school, lending him $12,000 I'd saved from working double shifts at Target while attending community college. Money he'd repaid only after I'd asked 3 times. Dad, that's harsh, Jamal said, his 13-year-old voice uncertain. She helped pay for your... That's exactly what I mean, Ezra cut him off. She's always trying to buy her way into maturity, into relevance. Some people are just mistakes, son. Biology doesn't make you family. Contribution does. Remember that. My hands trembled. The gift bag, containing a limited edition basketball jersey Jamal wanted $150, suddenly felt like evidence of my pathetic desperation. I set it silently on the porch and walked away, my breath creating clouds in the frigid air that matched the ice forming around my heart. Driving home to my studio apartment in Richmond, memories assaulted me. Every holiday where I'd arrived with expensive gifts, every time Ezra forgot my birthday, every family gathering where his wife Diane barely acknowledged my presence. I'd attributed it to personality differences. Now I understood they'd pitted me, tolerated me, called me a mistake behind closed doors. My phone buzzed. Mom, where are you? Ezra says you were supposed to come for dinner. I stared at the message. My mother, who'd raised me alone after Dad died when I was 5. Ezra had gotten Dad for 10 years. I'd gotten a ghost and a grieving mother. Was I really the mistake? Was being born a burden to everyone? I didn't respond. Instead, I drove aimlessly, ending up at Lake Merritt, watching the lights shimmer on dark water. My phone rang again, Ezra this time. I declined. He called again. On the 5th call I answered. Where the hell are you? His voice dripped annoyance, not concern. Mom's worried. About her mistake? The words came out colder than I'd intended. Silence stretched between us. What? I heard you, Ezra. Everything you told Jamal. About me being the family burden. The mistake. More silence. Then, incredibly, you weren't supposed to hear that, Lucille. Look, I was teaching him about... About what? How to devalue people. My voice cracked. I lent you $12,000. Which I paid back. After I begged. But it's fine, Ezra. Message received. Crystal clear. I hung up. For the next 3 days I ignored everyone. Ezra, Mom, even my best friend Tamara. I called in sick to my job at Kaiser Permanente, where I'd worked as a medical billing specialist for 6 years. I'd graduated from UC Berkeley Extension 2 years ago, climbing from community college while working full-time. No handouts. No family money. Just me, student loans, and determination. On day 4, Tamara showed up, using the key I'd given her. She found me on the couch, surrounded by photo albums. Girl, your mama's losing her mind. Tamara's dark eyes swept over me, assessing. We'd been friends since 2nd grade, sisters in everything but blood. Did you know? I asked quietly. Did everyone know Ezra thought I was a mistake? Tamara's face fell. What happened? I told her everything. When I finished, she was crying. That motherfucker. Lucille, baby, no. You're not a mistake. You're the strongest person I know. You put yourself through college, you've got a good job, your own place. That's exactly it, Tam. I closed the photo album. Christmas 1998, 8-year-old me gazing adoringly at 23-year-old Ezra. I've been trying to prove I wasn't a mistake my whole life. To him. To Mom. To everyone. And I'm done. What do you mean? I mean I'm disappearing. From them. New phone number, boundaries, distance. They want me gone? Fine. I'll show them what gone really means. Within 2 weeks, I'd changed my number, sharing it only with Tamara and my supervisor at work. I blocked Ezra, Diane, and after agonizing for days, Mom. It hurt. God, it hurt. But Mom had called only to plead for me to understand Ezra's perspective and not tear the family apart over words. My mistake wasn't being born. It was thinking blood automatically meant love. Work became my sanctuary. My supervisor, Patricia Lopez, noticed my renewed focus. Lucille, you're doing exceptional work lately. There's a position opening in healthcare administration. MBA preferred but not required. You interested? I was. The position paid $85,000 yearly, nearly double my current salary. I'll apply, I said, my heart racing with something new. Ambition uncomplicated by family obligation. Tamara helped me study for the application process. Her girlfriend Shanice, a corporate lawyer, conducted mock interviews. For the first time, I wasn't spending evenings wondering if I should call Ezra, or feeling guilty for not visiting Mom enough. My emotional energy, previously scattered among people who viewed me as an obligation, became laser-focused. 3 months later, I got the position. Patricia called me into her office, smiling. Welcome to the administrative team, Lucille. You've earned this. That night, Tamara took me to Duende in Oakland for tapas. To new beginnings, she toasted. I clinked my glass against hers, feeling something unfamiliar. Pride untainted by the need for external validation. 6 months into my new role, I was thriving. The salary increase meant I'd moved to a 1-bedroom in Temescal, started grad school online through USC's Healthcare Administration program, and began building actual savings. My therapist, Dr. Angela Robertson, a Black woman in her 50s, helped me process the grief, because that's what it was, grief for the family I'd thought I had. Then one Saturday at Whole Foods, I rounded the corner and nearly collided with Diane. My former sister-in-law looked shocked, then quickly composed herself. Lucille. My God, we've been trying to reach you for months. I changed my number. I kept my voice neutral, continued shopping. She followed me. Your mother's been sick. Did you know that? She's been asking for you. My stomach dropped, but I kept walking. How sick? Pneumonia last month. She's recovered, but Lucille, she's heartbroken. You can't just abandon your family over a misunderstanding. I stopped, turned to face her fully. Misunderstanding? Your husband called me a mistake that never should have happened. To his child. My nephew. That's not a misunderstanding, Diane. That's how he genuinely feels. Her expression flickered. Guilt, recognition. He was frustrated that day. You know, Ezra, he says things when what? When he thinks no one important is listening. I could feel eyes on us, other shoppers pretending not to notice our conversation. I've spent my whole life making myself smaller to fit into his narrative. I'm done. Diane's composure cracked. You don't understand the pressure Ezra has been under. His practice had problems, and when you disappeared, he lost. She stopped abruptly. Lost what? I pressed, something cold unfurling in my chest. She looked away. Nothing. Just your mom's getting older. 73, Lucille. Are you really going to waste whatever time is left because your feelings got hurt? My feelings got hurt? The words came out sharp enough that nearby shoppers openly stared now. He called me a mistake. A burden. Do you know how many times I bailed him out? Not just money. When Jamal was born, I took 2 weeks off work, unpaid, to help you. When your mother died, who planned the entire funeral because you were too overwhelmed? Diane's eyes filled with tears. We appreciated. No. Appreciation is reciprocal. What I received was tolerance. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. You want to know something? I'm happier now than I've ever been. Lighter. Successful. Free. So thank you for delivering Ezra's message that day, even if you didn't mean to. You helped me understand I was never the problem. I walked away, leaving her standing alone in the organic produce section, and didn't look back. My hands shook as I loaded groceries into my car, but underneath the trembling was steel. I'd meant every word. My new position involved more than billing. I liaised with community health initiatives, including the Kaiser Permanente Bay Area Scholarship Fund. We awarded 10 full-ride scholarships annually to underprivileged students pursuing healthcare careers. As a committee member, I reviewed applications, conducted interviews, and voted on recipients. This is impressive, said committee chair Dr. James Winters, a black surgeon nearing retirement. Young man named Jamal Henderson. Straight as volunteer EMT, wants to study pre-med at Stanford. Single-parent household, father's a dentist, but apparently there's been financial trouble. The essay's exceptional. My breath caught. Jamal Henderson. Ezra's son. My nephew. I kept my face carefully neutral as Dr. Winters passed the application around our conference table. There was Jamal's photo. Taller now at 16, Ezra's eyes, my grandmother's smile. His essay detailed wanting to serve underserved communities, how he'd watched his aunt, unnamed but clearly me, work multiple jobs while pursuing education. The aunt he mentions, said committee member Sandra Park, sounds like she had a real impact on him. Had, I noted quietly. Past tense. The essay was good, genuinely moving. Jamal wrote about family fractures, about learning that success meant nothing without character. About a conversation he'd overheard 3 years ago that changed how he viewed everything. He didn't elaborate, but I knew. He remembered that December night. Strong candidate, Dr. Winters said. Thoughts, Lucille? Everyone looked at me. My vote would matter significantly. I need to abstain, I said carefully. I know this family. Conflict of interest. Dr. Winters nodded understandingly, but that evening I couldn't stop thinking about Jamal. The essay's authenticity haunted me. This wasn't Ezra's polished manipulation. This was a teenager grappling with moral complexity. I texted Tamara, "Need you to do something for me." Tamara's investigative skills, honed from years as a social worker, were legendary. Within days she'd compiled a report that made my blood boil and my heart break simultaneously. Ezra's dental practice had indeed faced problems, specifically insurance fraud allegations 3 years ago. He'd settled quietly, paying $75,000 in fines, avoiding criminal charges. But it had decimated his savings. There's more, Tamara said over FaceTime. Your mom's been helping them financially. Guess who convinced her? Ezra. Bingo. She's been giving them $2,000 monthly from her retirement savings. Started right after you disappeared. I felt sick. Mom lived on Social Security and Dad's modest pension. $2,000 monthly was crippling her. Why wouldn't she tell me? Because Ezra told her you'd abandoned the family, that you were selfish. He framed it like she had to choose. Tamara's expression was furious. Get this. Diane works part-time at Macy's now. They're drowning, Lucille. And instead of being honest, Ezra has been bleeding your mother dry while playing victim about you. My hands clenched. What about Jamal's essay? The stuff about me. That part's real. I talked to a friend whose daughter goes to his school. Jamal's been vocal about his dad's hypocrisy. They've been fighting about it. Suddenly, Jamal's situation crystallized. He needed escape velocity from Ezra's toxicity as desperately as I had. The scholarship committee met again 2 weeks later. Jamal's application had advanced to final rounds, top 3 of 68 applicants. Dr. Winters presented updated materials, including a supplemental recommendation from Jamal's EMT supervisor describing his exceptional composure during a cardiac emergency. This kid's the real deal, Dr. Winters said warmly. He'll make an outstanding physician. Sandra agreed. The personal challenges he's overcome add depth. Financial hardship, family issues. He's demonstrated resilience. I'd recused myself from voting but attended as observer. Watching the committee lean toward Jamal twisted something inside me. He deserved it. But Ezra deserved nothing, and this scholarship would save Ezra hundreds of thousands in tuition. I want to share something, I said suddenly. Everyone turned. I'm the aunt Jamal references in his essay. The one who had an impact. Past tense because 3 years ago his father called me the family mistake that never should have happened. To Jamal. I overheard. Silence blanketed the room. Dr. Winters removed his glasses, cleaning them slowly, his tell when processing difficult information. That conversation, I continued, is what Jamal's essay alludes to. The moment that changed everything. He's genuine, I believe that. But I need you to understand something. If Jamal receives this scholarship, his father benefits immensely. Ezra Henderson has been manipulating our family financially while painting me as the villain for establishing boundaries. He's taking $2,000 monthly from my 73-year-old mother's retirement savings. Jesus, Sandra whispered. I'm not saying punish Jamal for his father's actions. I'm saying be aware. The committee delayed its decision pending additional review. Dr. Winters requested a mandatory parent interview, unusual but not unprecedented for scholarship finalists. Ezra would have to face a panel including me. When Ezra entered the conference room 3 days later, his shock at seeing me was visceral. He'd aged, I noticed dispassionately, graying temples, deeper lines around his mouth. Diane sat beside him looking nervous. Lucille, Ezra started, recovering his composure. I didn't know you were involved with. Dr. Henderson, Dr. Winters interrupted smoothly. We're here to discuss your son's application. Please sit. The interview was brutal. Dr. Winters, no fool, had done homework. He asked pointed questions about the family's financial situation, about why a dentist needed full scholarship assistance, about the essay's references to family conflict. Ezra stumbled, his usual smooth charm failing against Dr. Winters's surgical precision. Your son writes about integrity, Dr. Winters said quietly. About witnessing hypocrisy and choosing different values. Can you speak to that? Ezra's jaw tightened. Teenage idealism. Jamal's a good kid, but he doesn't understand adult complexities. Such as. I spoke for the first time since introductions. Ezra's eyes met mine, and for a moment I saw something crack in his facade. Fear. Lucille, please. Whatever issues we have, don't punish Jamal. I'm not. I'm asking what complexities justify calling your sister a mistake. Justify exploiting your elderly mother financially while claiming poverty for scholarships. Diane gasped softly. Ezra's face went purple. You have no idea what you're talking about. Insurance fraud settlement, $75,000, December 2022, I recited calmly. Mom's $2,000 monthly loans, starting January 2023. Should I continue? The room felt airless. Dr. Winters leaned back, studying Ezra with clinical detachment. Sandra's expression had shifted from sympathetic to stone cold. Ezra opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. The settlement was a misunderstanding, he finally managed. A billing error blown out of proportion. Insurance fraud is a billing error? Sandra's voice could have cut glass. I paid every cent, Ezra snapped. I took responsibility. But it left us vulnerable financially, which is why Jamal needs this scholarship. You can't hold my past mistakes against my son's future. Interesting word choice, I said softly. Mistakes. You called me one, remember? But when it's you, mistakes deserve understanding. Forgiveness. Second chances. Ezra turned to me fully, desperation bleeding through his anger. What do you want, Lucille? An apology? Fine. I'm sorry. I was stressed, I said something cruel and I'm sorry. Is that enough? Will you stop sabotaging Jamal now? Sabotaging. The word hit like a slap. I recommended abstaining from voting specifically to avoid bias. You sabotaged yourself, Ezra. You're so used to manipulating people that you can't conceive of honest evaluation. Diane touched Ezra's arm, but he shook her off. You've always been jealous of me. Of what I built. You couldn't handle that I succeeded where you failed, so now? Failed. I laughed, surprising myself. I put myself through college while you had family money. I built a career while you committed fraud. I established boundaries while you bled Mom dry. If that's failure, I'll take it over your success any day. Dr. Winters stood, signaling the interview's end. We'll be in touch, Dr. Henderson. The committee convened privately after Ezra and Diane left. Dr. Winters rubbed his temples, looking older than his 65 years. This is complicated. Is it though? Sandra countered. The kid's exceptional, but full-ride scholarships come with institutional reputation considerations. If it comes out we funded a fraud perpetrator's son while he's draining his elderly mother's savings. Jamal isn't responsible for his father's choices, argued committee member Robert Lewis, our youngest member at 38. The essay shows he's actively rejecting those values. They debated for an hour. I remained silent until Dr. Winters asked directly, Lucille, if you could vote, what would it be? I thought about Jamal at 13, his uncomfortable voice questioning his father's cruelty. About the essay that showed genuine moral awakening. About the fact that he volunteered in underserved communities despite having a father who viewed service as transactional. About myself at 16, desperate for family approval I'd never receive. I'd vote no, I said quietly. Not because Jamal doesn't deserve it. Because giving Ezra financial relief rewards his behavior. Because there are 59 other qualified applicants whose families aren't manipulating elderly relatives. Because sometimes the kindest thing is letting people face consequences, including the consequence of their children witnessing who they really are. Dr. Winters nodded slowly. The committee votes. All in favor of approving Jamal Henderson's scholarship. Robert raised his hand. Alone. Opposed. 3 hands. Sandra's, Dr. Winters's, and committee member Priya Desai's, who'd been silent throughout. Jamal Henderson's application is denied, Dr. Winters announced. The scholarship goes to applicant number 2, Maria Santos. Priya, please draft the notification letters. I felt no triumph. Only sadness for a nephew caught in crossfire he didn't create. 3 weeks later, I received an email from an address I didn't recognize. Subject line, from Jamal. My finger hovered over delete, then clicked open. Lucille. I know about the scholarship committee. Dad doesn't know I know, but I do. He's been raging about you for weeks, claiming you sabotaged me out of spite. But I read the committee guidelines. They're allowed to consider family circumstances. What happened is on him, not you. I remember that night 3 years ago. I know you heard what Dad said. I felt sick about it ever since. You disappeared and I understood why, but I missed you. You were the only adult who treated me like my thoughts mattered. I'm not asking you to forgive Dad. I barely can most days. But I wanted you to know I'm working 2 jobs, saving everything. I'll get to Stanford eventually on my terms. And when I do, I'll be a doctor who sees people as people, not mistakes or burdens or transactions. Because of you. Because you showed me what integrity actually looks like. I hope you're happy wherever you are. You deserve it. Jamal. I cried reading it, ugly, cathartic sobs that released 3 years of frozen grief. Then I composed a response. Jamal, you're already the doctor I'd want treating me. The person I'd want in the world. Never doubt that. Your father's toxicity isn't your inheritance unless you claim it. I'm happy. Genuinely. I have boundaries, meaningful work, and self-respect. That's more than money or scholarships can buy. When you make it to Stanford, and you will, let me know. Coffee's on me. Your Aunt Lucille. I hit send, then open my banking app. Jamal's savings account would receive an anonymous donation. $12,000. The exact amount I'd lent Ezra. Not charity. Repayment of a debt his father never acknowledged owing. But Ezra would never know. Jamal would think he'd earned it through work, through character, through being everything his father wasn't. Some mistakes I'd learned were actually corrections. Necessary recalibrations that looked like endings but were really beginnings. I wasn't the family mistake. I was the family member who finally woke up. And that made all the difference.